Okay, this is going to be one deck, one reading. We are going to be doing our one reading with a new deck. Today's deck is going to be the Tarot of the Divine, a deck and guidebook by Yoshitani. So for this reading, just like any other readings on my channel, please take what resonates. I cannot stress that enough. Every single tarot reading will fit for a specific individual or a group of people. You will know how and when to apply this. If this isn't a message for you and you want to learn something about tarot through my videos, thank you so much for supporting my videos by watching, liking, subscribing. But also, if you're learning something from me, I would appreciate to know if you do want to let me know. I would appreciate that a lot. So one of the other goals with these readings is to kind of just do a reading with each deck. So previously in this playlist, you'll see that the original Rider-Waite was our first deck. This is the second deck that I'm using in this series. And so for this message, it can resonate with the previous one. So if you want to go back and watch that one, go ahead, go do that. But you don't have to resonate with that message in order to resonate with this one. It's just they might be a toss up of complementing each other, right? So let's go ahead and get started. So one of my main goals for this is that you get something out of this message. So whether you're learning tarot or you needed this message or you maybe just are looking to purchase a new deck and you like the look of this one, uh maybe that's the goal for you. You're looking for a new deck to buy. This isn't so much a review of the deck, but I will let you know while I'm doing the reading if I've had any difficulties with this deck, if I've struggled with it in any way. The reason the original Rider-Waite was the first deck was because it's the standard deck that most tarot readers use in both size and just the recognizable energy of that art. So if you've seen this art before, this is the original Rider-Waite. Most of my decks do have a basis of the original Rider-Waite. So for example, this deck is based on the original art of the Rider-Waite. So we have the Six of Pentacles here, the Nine of Pentacles here as well. And they are story based on the original art. So there's a lot of lore in this deck that I'm not going to be going into during this video. But if you're interested in it, I would recommend looking on Yoshitani's site to learn more about this deck, and I will let you know in the description where I purchased it, how much it was, or at least where I purchased it, and what I think of this deck. I do recommend it. It has a nice cardstock. It is a bit, excuse me, it is a bit thicker than the original Rider-Waite. Let me bring that back. The original Rider-Waite being right here. This deck, it don't look that different in size on camera, but if you turn them to the side, you'll notice it's a bit chunkier. But that's okay. We like them thick here. We like a thick tarot deck. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Take what resonates as always. You'll know how and when to apply this. And just remember that with these messages, they are pretty generalized. They are pretty vague, just for the sense of it can apply to anything and anyone. So if it's really vague and you want to sit with it and rewatch this later, you're welcome to bookmark it. But whatever you get from this, just remember it's your life. You'll know what to do with it if there is something to do with it. And if you need more from me, my readings are open and they'll be in the description. All right, let's go ahead and get started. What is the one message, one reading we can get with this deck, the Tarot of the Divine? What message does this deck have for us? I'm sure you've noticed by now my hands are a bit too small for this deck, but I think that's kind of the reason that there's a charm to this deck, because you're using it with the intention that there's a little bit of a difficulty in what you're using. So the final card on the bottom of the deck is a Knight of Wands. The bottom of the deck card, I usually read this energy to kind of solidify our fears. We're afraid that we're doing too much too quickly, that we're taking on too much, and maybe you're kind of hoping to get some insight on something, you're hoping to reflect on something, but you're trying to get there a little bit faster than you might need to. Remember, when it comes to insight and deeper spiritual knowledge, it takes time to get there. You're not going to get there just because you ask. So just because you ask a tarot reading for a message doesn't mean you're going to get it right away. So whatever this message is, feel free to sit with it. Feel free to sit with it and don't force the message to come to you. If it doesn't make sense right now, feel free to bookmark it. If you get a eureka moment, you want to come back and re-listen, please do. I do recommend journaling. I do recommend all of that. So the order of these cards, this came out first on its face down. So this is kind of like the initiation into the message is not known to us, even though I did flip it and did reveal that it is the King of Wands. We're going to leave that face down just for a moment because I want to kind of talk about what I'm getting from this message minus the initiation, because there's a reason that we had a face down card first. And I do want to apologize again. My light is flickering. Hopefully it doesn't keep doing that. So one of the main things that I'm seeing here is there's sort of this idea of like celebratory energy with the Four of Wands. We also have the Page of Swords coming to us, and kind of like an understanding of our joy and our celebration. It might be very surface level right now. I feel like wherever you're at, you're thinking in terms of joy rather than just feeling the moment of the joy and just letting that be what guides you and what teaches you. Now, whatever energy you're currently in, whether you're a person that plans parties or just looks forward to the weekend, I feel like this is an energy where looking forward to the weekend is not the same as finding joy in everyday living. And I think that kind of maybe is where this message is. You're very quick to look for joy outside of you, to look for joy that's not happened yet, but you're not really enjoying what's happening in your current lifestyle, what you're doing in this very moment. I want to flip over this King of Wands, and I just want to kind of say with the King of Wands, I'm not getting a sense that you're being kind of negative about this or that you're being very stubborn about this, but the King of Wands can represent stubbornness and kind of a stubborn opinion about the way that you're perceiving joy. I think with the kings, you want to think of them as leaders of that energy. So you are a leader of the party. You are the center of that energy. And I think ultimately there might be something akin to missing a version of yourself that you feel no longer exists just because the space in which it existed no longer exists. So think of it like you had a really beautiful garden, right? You had a beautiful experience with a beautiful garden. I have something in my eye. Maybe that's it. Maybe you're too distracted. And it might be it. You might be too distracted with this version of yourself that you think doesn't exist because the environment or circumstances in which it existed is now something you're looking at from the outside in, rather than recognizing that it wasn't really the environment per se or the circumstances. You did what you did with the circumstances and environment around you, and you made the very best of it, and you will continue to do that. It will look different and every time, absolutely. But don't think that one version of yourself was the only version that ever exists. The version of you now is still existing in a joy and a space that exists because of you and because you were able to manifest the circumstances and situations that allow for this joy to be present. And maybe you're looking back on that past version of yourself, or you're kind of imagining a version of yourself enjoying your life a certain way and you just don't see it in your everyday life. But I do get the sense that it's not because you are incapable of creating that for yourself or that you are imagining it based on specific scenarios. It might be, though. It might be that you're imagining specific circumstances. What I can tell you is that whatever version of yourself you're imagining is completely possible. It's completely possible because whoever you used to be that you're thinking of, uh that had this like persona, I'm kind of getting that there was like a persona that you had, a joyful persona that you had that you're looking back on. Or maybe you're just a person that, you really miss a certain part of your life, or you're thinking in terms of, wow, I really made that happen, how can I make that happen again, or how can I continue that? And the thing is, when you created this persona, or you created this environment for yourself, you didn't know it at the time. Just like right now, you're creating an environment for yourself that you don't recognize right now. So you have to remember that in kind of the unfolding of what's coming. You have to remember that the joy that you've had is possible to make again. It won't be the same, but I think it's entirely possible that you don't really recognize it as being different when you're in the moment of creation, because the moment of creation where you're creating a space for yourself to be this person who has this joy and these joyful circumstances, the celebratory circumstances, you are completely and utterly able to create that for yourself time and time again. It will look different each time. Don't focus on what it looks like. Focus on the fact that you are consistently able to do this for yourself. Um, I do want to say that it takes a little bit of tenacity. It does take a little bit of a stubbornness in you, but I don't think that stubbornness is necessarily negative. I think that maybe you might be in a rush right now to create a joyful space for yourself and to protect it simultaneously, but actually in feeling that way, you might be actually um causing kind of a rift in your own harmony. Let's redo that split. Yeah. You're kind of distracting yourself and not really thinking of anyone but yourself in that. So in order to create the harmony that you want, you have to be the harmony. You have to kind of take that risk of, if I want it so bad, I have to be the thing that I want. Does that make sense? You have to imagine in a way that you're already at that space, I feel like. So I'm gonna kind of pause it there. So I'm gonna ask you if you want to leave a comment and let me know. Is there a version of yourself that you're trying to manifest for yourself? Is there something that you're kind of hoping to accomplish, hoping to feel joy in, but you're kind of thinking too much and not really doing a lot of the action, or that you're maybe doubting sort of the actions or not feeling as confident in the actions that you're taking because you're not seeing a lot of progress in it? You're enjoying your life, you're enjoying your day to day, but you're not seeing a lot of like growth from it. How does that feel for you right now? And how is that manifesting for you? I feel like this is a message for people who are kind of in a transitionary point in their life where they haven't quite made the rounds that they want to make in their life. They've not quite done the things that they want to do. But truthfully, I think we all get to that point in time. We all get to a point where we don't feel like we've quite made it yet. You are still in a somewhat new phase. When I split this deck in the middle, it's kind of telling me a transition is happening. And yeah, you're definitely in a new phase where you're taking risks and you're taking names at the same time. Maybe not taking names, maybe. But I do think this is a positive message. I think that sometimes we have to just kind of take risk. What this message is telling me is that your risks are circumstantial and your risks are situational. You know your limitations and you know what you're able to do in this time. So your limitations and your circumstances are not really your fault. It's really just about how you're finding joy in these moments and your sense of progress and your sense of what you're doing, being proud of the things that you're doing. Because I definitely get a sense of pride and joy in what you're doing, but maybe a little bit of overthinking what it means to progress in that, because not just the joy that you're feeling in the moment and that you're expressing in the moment, but all of the logical, emotional, sort of like groundbreaking truths that you're understanding in yourself through this process. This feels like you are going through some sort of rebirth. And so you're thinking about yourself in new ways that might have you actually getting in your own way. So don't get in your own way too much. There's a reason that you have always functioned the way that you do. Don't try to get in your own way too much. I understand wanting to be conscious of your behavior and conscious of how you're showing off or coming off to other people when you're in this space. But I think that you're surrounded enough by good people, or at least I hope you are, because I think when I saw this Fool card in the middle of the deck, I'm pretty sure I also saw the Two of Cups that I showed earlier was right on top of it. You do have good connections and you're going to have even better ones in the days to come. You have the support you need. I think it is a little bit likely that you might not be seeing all of the support you have, or you might not be able to truly appreciate it right now because you're a little bit stuck in your own mind. But I think also that's to be expected in this transition. Don't overthink by adding more of the like doubts of, oh God, how do I stop overthinking? When you hear this message, it's going to cause you to overthink more. So, all I can really recommend is to take the message as it sits with you. I do feel like in this energy, you are being allowed the space to enjoy yourself and to be a little bit blissfully ignorant about it, but just check your blissful ignorance where you can. It's okay to be a little bit ignorant, but it's not okay to push your luck with the people who care about you. If that resonates at all for anybody who's listening to this, I just realized my cards were crooked. Silly Virgo placement things. Okay, so that is what I feel the message is. One small thing is I do see this Five of Wands on the bottom underneath the Knight of Wands with this Seven of Wands. So you're kind of like, don't avoid an argument if you think you can't help it. just because you're trying to keep peace and joy. If there's something you think you need to say it. If you're worried about it messing up the vibe of your situation, but you still feel the need to say it, people who love you will know what you're about. People who don't will adjust accordingly, okay? It is good to be mindful of how you say it though, how you deliver it. Think about how you want to deliver your lines and make sure you're delivering them with love. That is the message. I hope that it was helpful for you. Thank you for listening to this one deck, one reading, or at least watching if you did. Feel free to like, share, subscribe, all of that. Thank you so much for your support, and I will see you again next week. Bye bye.